Welcome to Enshrouded. Today we'll be introducing you to a mini-series of videos exploring the key pillars of the game, including combat, building, and survival. Let's start with the basic combat mechanics in today's video. Enshrouded allows the players to lock onto enemies in order to focus their attacks and movement on specific opponents. As the enemy attacks, you can block their action with or without a shield. Blocking an attack costs stamina, and once depleted, attacks cannot be blocked anymore. With the right timing, you can also parry enemy attacks. A successful parry will block incoming attacks but also heavily drain the enemy's stamina. This leads us to the merciless attack, a powerful finisher that can only be used when an enemy's stamina has been depleted. Once the attack becomes available, it can deal a devastating blow to your enemy. In Enshrouded, you will have a variety of powerful weapons to choose from. For example, you can use bows for ranged combat in combination with different types of arrows. There are also wands for faster shots of elemental damage types, as well as staffs for mana-based slower and heavier attacks that can also affect a group of enemies. Apart from swords, there are also heavy melee weapons like hammers and axes, as well as explosives, hopefully offering the weapon of choice for different kinds of playstyles and challenges. Now that you are familiar with the basics, Enshrouded places a strong emphasis on the value of preparation before entering into combat. It is important to focus on extensive preparations, such as resting, cooking various foods by using recipes, as well as potions and other items to gain an advantage in the battle. Keep an eye on our YouTube channel where we will explain this in a bit more detail. As you explore the world of Enshrouded, you will encounter many enemy factions such as the Fel, Scavengers, Wild Beasts, and Wildlife. Each of them can be found in the unique areas of the game. There are various approaches you can take towards enemy fights. If you're the type of player who prefers to avoid direct combat, you can choose to scout and sneak your way around enemies to avoid alerting them to your presence. For players who enjoy ranged combat, you can also use bows, staffs, and wands to attack enemies from a distance. As the world of Enshrouded is fully voxel based, you can even dig your way around the obstacles. The possibilities are endless, and it is up to you how you will use this approach. Another way to approach enemy fights in Enshrouded is by using a glider. The glider allows you to fly over and approach enemy camps from above, given the element of surprise. In this section, we'll be discussing the game's leveling system, customization, and multiplayer experience. As players explore and survive in the game, they will gain experience points and level up. With each level gained, players will unlock skill points that can be used in a skill tree. For example, there are active abilities such as double jump, sneak attack, and blink, but there are also passive skills that improve your abilities or automatically trigger under certain conditions. All of the skills and players' class directions can be mixed in any way possible, which allows for a variety of different builds. In the world of Enshrouded, crafting basic weapons can be done at the blacksmith and other NPCs, but legendary weapons and armors can only be found through world exploration. Higher rarity weapons have additional perks that can be unlocked through upgrading. Apart from a single player, the game also allows players to play with up to 16 players on a dedicated server in a co-op environment. Playing together with others will allow each player to have a specific role in a team when exploring for resources, armors, weapons, and fighting together. Players can also heal and buff their party members or revive them if they fall to the enemy, enhancing the co-op experience. If you like what you're seeing, make sure to wishlist us on Steam. Be sure to also subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out our social media links in the description below. We'll see you in the next one. Welcome back to Enshrouded. Today let's talk about voxel-based building and terraforming. You want to build a towering castle? Sure thing. Maybe something darker like a skull castle? We've got you covered. You want to live underground or build your own dungeon? Just start digging. But let's slow down a little bit and create a new base step by step. This looks like a nice spot for a base. First, let's build a small bridge and lay down the foundation for our buildings using voxel blueprints. Although you can simply build things block by block, blueprints help to lay out bigger structures a bit faster. They are simply a collection of voxels that can be placed at once, but as they are voxels, they will blend together seamlessly however you stick them together. There are also blueprints of various sizes and shapes to give you plenty of options to block out your dream home. Once you are finished with the general layout, you can tweak and refine using single block tools anytime to create intricate shapes and decorations. After creating the building itself, you can make yourself at home using plenty of props for decorating your rooms. We have more than 100 different props in various styles and materials to start with. If you enjoy hunting, you can also collect trophies from bosses you've defeated to show off your achievements. There are various categories of decorative furniture that will give you a stronger rested buff when you leave home for your next adventure. You can also shape the terrain itself to build underground structures like caves or basement to stash all your resources and treasures. Simply use your pickaxe or modified terrain using terrain shaping tools. Furthermore, as your backpack might get full very quickly, you can also place chests. This will allow you to store your valuable items and protect them from potential death. On your adventures, you will discover NPCs that you can settle in your base. You will build them a workshop and housing, and they will help you with crafting and send you on quests. Additional crafting stations and NPC props will even further expand your available crafting recipes. On top of that, we have farming, so you can grow all kinds of resources right at home. Just prepare a piece of land with fertile soil, plant seedlings, and harvest your rewards. In terms of materials, we have plenty of different variety to satisfy your needs and the way you want to make your dream builds look. The world of Enshrouded is fully voxel based, which means you have a lot of creative control to create any kind of building and even shape the terrain to your liking. Thank you for watching. You can wishlist Enshrouded now on Steam. If you like what you're seeing, subscribe, comment, like below, and we'll see you on the next one.
Hey guys, before this video gets started, I just want to give a brief introduction. My name is The Basic Builder, and I have been granted access by Keen Games to Enshrouded to bring you a building tutorial and to go over all the mechanics of the game. If you're interested, please follow the links down below in the description. Go ahead and wishlist it on Steam, and without further ado, let's jump into the video. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It is The Basic Builder back in Enshrouded, bringing you my first building video of many. First off, I just want to go ahead and say again, thank you to Keen Games, the developers of this game Enshrouded, for allowing me to come in and show off some of the building mechanics as we will in this video. We are going to be talking about the voxel base building mechanics, as well as the blueprint and what you can do with them. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Alright, before we get started with showing you how to build the quick builder tool, a quick little note on how to zoom in and zoom out on your character. If you hold down the left Alt button, use your middle mouse wheel, you can scroll in to your character and all around. Just a little quick tip on that. So now what we're going to do is, in order to build, you have to create or craft the quick builder tool. So in order to do that, again, collect the resources. So you're going to need just some twigs here. So we're going to press B on your keyboard, and that's going to open up your backpack. We're going to go into crafting, and we're going to select the quick option. So we're going to either click space, or you can actually click, and there you go. Have the quick builder tool. Now we're going to go ahead and open it up from your hotbar, and we are ready to start building. One of the first things that you want to do before you place down any building piece whatsoever is craft the flame altar. So what we're going to do is go back into our inventory, go to crafting, and place down a flame altar. Only requires 5 stone, which you can run around the terrain. You can find the stone. If you watched the other video that I have done with the tools, you can dig the stone out. Okay? So it's going to place your flame altar in your hotbar. So we're just going to go ahead, place it down. The flame altar, to interact with it, I'm going to jump up onto it and hit E. It's going to give you, behold, the glimmer of strength, flame born. That's what you are. You are a Flameborn in this game. That's your character. Felling the shroud root granted you skill points. Send them to the skill tree to unlock new wondrous powers. So you can just continue reading on that. Okay. So here's your building area, your flame altar. You can upgrade it with what they call spark, and you'll find this throughout the map. But starting out with your base, you get a building area of 25 meters by 25 meters. So it's okay. Size-wise, but obviously once you upgrade it, you can add more. You can tear down the buildings. Show you how to do all that. All right, so we're going to hit escape and go ahead and close, and now we can start the building process. Okay. So in order for me to do this, I'm going to show you how to do it. So we're going to hit 8, which is on our hotbar. And we're going to press tab, okay? So this is going to give you the materials that you can use in order to have that. So we're going to go ahead and craft a workbench, which is going to be the next thing we're going to do. Let's go ahead, craft a workbench. So we need to make some string. So let's go make some string. Let's grab a few more fibers by just coming up and looting them. And one more string, and opens up our workbench. So let's craft it. It will all go into your hotbar. So let's go ahead. If you hold down R, you can rotate with your middle mouse wheel, or you can just press R and it will rotate it for you. Just like that. So again, we're going to hold Alt, kind of zoom in a little bit on our character. So you want to interact with a workbench. So here you need to build blocks. This is what you're going to need in order to make buildings. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and craft some stone and some wood. Okay? And I'm going to come right on over here. I'm going to press 8 to open up my quick builder tool and tab. So from here you can select if you want the rough wooden block or the stone block. Now, the voxel-based modification or the voxel-based properties of building is where you can place these single blocks down, which is cool. So if we want to do that, we can press some wood and start clicking. And the good thing about this tool is I'm going to use this as like a scaffolding, right? So you can just manipulate blocks everywhere, all like that. Okay. Very cool, very handy tool. Now, if you're like, oh man, I placed a block, I didn't mean to do that. No worries. Just go over the block and right click, and it will delete that block for you. Just like that. And the good thing is, get all your resources and materials back. Okay. So, very good tool, very useful tool, very powerful tool. So make sure that you use it when you're building. Trust me, you're going to want to do it. Now, let's talk about the blueprint building. Other than this, the little voxel, you can go here. So you have 2 meter, you have a 2 meter foundation, a narrow wall, a wall with a window, a door frame, a column, ceiling, wall, normal wall, stairs, and your roof trusses, and a staircase wall. You have your 4 meter, you have the same options here. You have roofs and terrain. So let's just, for this demonstration, let's go ahead and use a 4 meter wall piece, and it will snap. Right now we have snapping enabled. And again, you can change your materials by pressing F, just like this. So here you go. You got your stone, your rough stone foundation, and you have your wooden foundation. Very, very cool. All right. So let's just say you're going to build with a wooden foundation, and you want to put up a wall. Press tab and press tab again to exit out after you select your piece, and boom, got your wall. textures on these are absolutely amazing. Now let's say you want to put a window in. We're going to go back into our single. And this is where this tool is very powerful. Anywhere you want to remove blocks, just right click and you can start to make windows just like that. So cool. I love how it creates a little rock border around all of that. Now let's say you wanted to put in like the window dividers and all that. That's done over on workbench, so let's head over there and see if we can craft some of those. So we're going to hit E and we're going to go right on down here to decorative, and we're going to make some windows. Just pressing space takes only 3 logs. Okay, jump back up here, and if you press the little button next to the number 1 on your keyboard, you should see it just like so. And you're going to press 3 and boom, press it in just like that. Press that little number again and you see that gap at the top. If you want to close that gap in, all you need to do and select this building material here, or the single wall block, and look at and just like that. There you have it. There is a simple wall with a window. But if you wanted to add some decoration to it, let's do that really quick. We're going to come right on over here and we're going to use the same block, but we're going to select the wood. Okay. Again, powerful tool. You can line your walls like so. Create a lot of nice depth build. Again, this tool, it's up to your imagination at this point. You need so much of it to whatever it is you do. The good thing is, by doing that, also it creates these nice little support beams, and I just think that's absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. So there you have it. Now, that's essentially the building mechanics of this game. Again, very powerful. Use them, your abilities, and create and have fun with this game. It's kind of a game changer, something I've never seen in any other survival games that I have played past. So again, highly recommend using those tools to your advantage. They're in your arsenal, so just have fun building. So I put together a little time-lapse build of this little starter home here. So I'm going to send it over to that. And guys, again, thank you so much for tuning in, watching this video. I do greatly appreciate it. If you like the video, go ahead and leave a thumbs up on it. Leave a comment down below of what you plan to build once you get your hands on these building tools. And if you're new to the channel, go ahead, subscribe to it. Don't miss out on any other tips and tricks videos, as well as building videos, because I plan to do a lot of them in this game. And again, thank you to King Games, developers of this game, Enshrouded, for giving me this opportunity. And we will see you in the next video. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
welcome to an Enshrouded build showcase. My name's JPG, I'm a YouTuber that covers survival games on my own channels, but today King Games have given me an exclusive opportunity to show you some of the finer details with building in their brand new survival RPG game. I spent a number of hours within Enshrouded doing lots of base building and checking out the different mechanics, and today I'm going to deliver the 5 key important features you need to know that really make Enshrouded, to me, stand out from a lot of other games and really make this something you should be checking out in the future. So obviously make sure you subscribe to King's YouTube channel, but do go ahead and wishlist the game. You'll find a link in the description box taking you to the Steam page. Let's go. So it's a pretty comprehensive tutorial that will take you to the first place where it wants you to base build. And base building, just like other games, has got uses where you get bonuses for resting and comfort. So you can see it's a very plain field. First of all, you've got to put down your flame. This is your marker that you're going to have this as your area to have your base, and no other players, I do believe, can really build close to it. You can expand the flame, which you'll really like as well, by giving resources. So if you start out small with that cozy cottage feel and then want to upgrade, and you can build a huge mansion if you want once you get it upgraded. Now this is a co-op game, so don't have to worry about other players necessarily trolling you, but you never know. It's good to have that bit of protection, and obviously gives you a landscape to work with in terms of distances. Next we're talking about the actual terraformation, and again this is some of the best I've seen. Other games recently I've seen you can kind of dig holes and flatten the ground a little bit, but this you can literally raise up a mountain if you really wanted to with a variety of different resources. The voxel techniques that they've learned making their previous game Portal Knights and now transforming that into something that looks more realistic is pretty incredible. I really like this mechanic. I can well imagine so many cool bases, and you're going to see something pretty special at the end of me guiding you through some of this. There's a few different items that you need to know. You can quick build, so you'll basically get a blueprint selection and they'll have different shapes to it, and then you can expand and kind of cut across with them. Or you can individually place these small cubes and they really transform what you're doing, but you'll be seeing more of that a bit later. Here I've got some dirt. I decided I was going to try and make some sort of farming patch and maybe put some crops down later. And you've got the rocky outcrop. I'm now placing some rough stone fence around it, and it just looks so cool. It doesn't have that blocky look of other games like Minecraft. It's still looking realistic and it blends together so well. And that's something I've not seen in many other games to this extent anyway, this well done. But it's not just about putting your house on a nice hill. How about you becoming a proper cave dwelling creature? You can actually build into the ground and terraform. It might take a bit more work, and maybe my tool wasn't the best one here for the job, but it does seem possible that you could build cave bases. We've seen from the trailers that you can build perfect tunnels through huge mountains and cliffs, and so the idea here is that you could potentially live underground. Then it was time to put some foundations down, and a sheer choice in size. You can have much smaller than this, you can have largers as part of the quick build blueprint system. I really appreciate this. If you don't want to go painstakingly building everything with just the small cubes, there's a variety of different shapes, doorways, windows and archways. Building system does take a bit of time to get used to. There's certain buttons that you have to have, or combinations, and sometimes if you press in the wrong thing that can cause you to basically demolish something. But that ends up actually being a feature of the game, which I'll talk about a bit later. But here you can see I'm just placing lots of different walls down and experimenting with it. You obviously get so much choice in terms of the materials, as I mentioned, and they will come in the form of blocks. So you'll gather them and you can see the clear numbers in the hotbars down below. Some may have to be refined also to hopefully go ahead and build whatever you want. I really like the idea that you've got natural generation of things like the ivy on here as well. So at this point I was going for more of a sort of Tudor style build a little bit, just to raise it up and make the cottage look a bit more interesting, and I decided to extend it a little bit by double stacking the walls. You can see how great it all just blends together. It does need a little bit of work with the pointers and stuff, but there is also a auto toggle that will basically snap things to make it a little bit easier if you're building something fairly simple. You can make bases seem so realistic with quirks and all sorts of things going on to make it stand out a little bit more. You've got all sorts of horizontal blocks as well. To start, I did some beading around my little Tudor house. And then the insides, putting obviously floors down and stuff. So building's a key part of the game. It's going to how you basically get new recipes by discovering certain NPCs and getting them to come back to live with you, as you'll see at the end. So you do want to give yourself a lot of space. This cozy cabin, I'm sure I'll probably outgrow fairly quickly, but I got the floor layered up and then it was time to think about trying to get the roofs done. Now bear in mind this is from the beta version of the game, so improvements will be made, but just like most games it's always a bit finicky putting roofs on sometimes, so probably need to extend a little bit in terms of the scope or where you can actually place buildings and not have to be too close to them. And likewise, when you're too close to a piece, just let us be able to place it down and maybe move us above it. But again, a really free-flowing custom idea of building. You can change the shape of the roofing, you can get smaller pieces, larger, and you can go ahead and dismantle a lot of the blocks that you're using to hide away nooks and bits that may be snagged out and don't look as good. So after messing around, we finally got the roofing done, and you now just got to put off the last few pieces as I started to think about adding some windows. Now this is where the customization really comes in. This is basically the basic version of building without blueprints. You have just the resource and you can go ahead and destroy one block to create windows, doorways, arches, whatever it is you want, and then build up with the resource that you want. It's such a game changer not to have just regular shaped windows. You can have all sorts of gaps and things, adding extra light into your bases without the need to have big huge glass blocks or rectangles. So you use these cubes to either build something a bit more complex or go ahead and demolish certain pieces of your wall. So part of that is also the ability to rewind. You can effectively redo or undo the last 5 things that you've placed or any actions you've done. This is really a good godsend. We've all done it before. We've deleted something and it's been crucial to the build, or we've placed it in just that wrong spot. Well, now with just a tap of a button you can rewind time ever so slightly and give yourself an opportunity to place it exactly where you wanted or rejig something. It's a really cool feature. I don't think I've seen it like this in any other game. Enshrouded is really trying some new stuff here to make life easier for players that just love to get lost in building grand castles, bases and forts. It's such a game changer being able to customise in this way with them other features. I don't think many games have this kind of mixture. And yeah, it's definitely going to need some more work in the future. This is still just a beta, but absolutely enjoyed my time here. And just the possibilities are endless. Getting things looking right with this customization with the one block, opening up windows and gaps, or creating yourself ruins as well, really does lend itself to so many possibilities. So no survival adventure game is really complete nowadays without some cozy decor, and Enshrouded's got that in abundance. A nice selection of basic furnitures and more advanced ones that you'll get access to as you get new recipes. Obviously being able to have the freedom to place it where you want, and again snap into things and making sure you've got plenty of light in and around your base. When building your base you've got to think about the 3 key things of shelter, warmth and comfort. So I'm pretty sure, not that I tested it thoroughly, that the more decorations you have, the more that's going to lead to a better comfort score. Final touches like windows are also really fantastic, the way that you can blend them inside the actual structures, so not having to worry about just empty window frames. And there's lots and lots of choice. I always hate when I see builds built on a huge amount of foundations that kind of just seem stuck right in the landscape. But now you can blend the landscape to suit you. You can blend the pieces that they'll go into the ground and dirt and just make everything look a bit more natural. I really didn't like the look of these archways on the foundations, so I went ahead and covered the outsides of them. And this extended to being given a bit of a farming feel to my cozy little cottage, planting some seeds and wheats so that I could hopefully make it look a bit more lived in, with the huge rock next to it making it seem a bit more natural in the way that I blended it in. I really felt like this cozy cottage could have been designed by a game developer in this part of the world. So that's my cozy cottage. That's the basics of building in Enshrouded. I think we've seen some of these mechanics in other games, but not done as well as we're seeing here, and not in combination with the ability to have that custom building, the blueprint building, and the terraforming, and all them just quality of life features like being able to undo certain pieces that you've done. And I guess finishing off, you can see my blacksmith there. He'll give you access to brand new weapons and armors. You'll find and rescue him from certain points in the world, as well as other NPCs, and you bring them back, so you've got your chance to build a village with all your NPCs, making it a fully lived in little part of the world. I'll most likely cover this in more detail in the future, but yeah, effectively you rescue these NPCs. There's various different ones, and they'll give you access to new, unique and different kinds of materials, like this charcoal kiln from the blacksmith. And this is how you can progress and unlock new recipes for building as well as the weapons and tools. So I'm going to have one more run through as dusk was settling down on my little farmstead. This was all just a completely plain field, and now I feel like it fits into the landscape a lot more. I'm going to show you something pretty special now though. I'm going to show you my mage's tower that I cobbled together pretty quickly using the mechanics that I'd learned over around 3 hours. So here is my rather thick wizard's tower. I ain't gonna lie, it looks more like a rocket, but you get the idea. I just want to show that you can add some more details and features to a build and make something very different from just a cozy cottage if you really wanted to. I love that you can make crevices and all sorts of decorations to make walls not so flat, and just makes and lifts a lot of the base design up. You see there I've got a little balcony as well, and just all these little things here. So using only 1 or 2 materials as well. I didn't want to go too mad, just showing you guys all different things you can maybe think of doing. So hopefully this has whetted your appetite about what Enshrouded will offer when it releases later on this year, and I'm sure there's going to be many improvements. Bearing in mind this is all footage from the closed beta. I'm sure we're going to see even more improvements added to the building. And of course there's so many other aspects to explore with Enshrouded, and hopefully I'll be giving you more details and news about them in the future. If not, make sure you're subscribed to the King Games and Enshrouded YouTube channel, follow them on social media, and come join the Discord to hear up-to-date information about Enshrouded. And another gentle reminder to go ahead and make sure you've wishlisted the game, and again that link will be in the description box. Check my actual YouTube channel at JadePG to see even more of Enshrouded in the future, and I'll see you very soon.
Building in Enshrouded is easy and fun once you understand the game's mechanics. This video will show you all of the basics so you can enjoy building some awesome things in your Enshrouded worlds. If you'd like to see more Enshrouded videos, please do subscribe. The first thing you'll need to think about is finding a location to do your building. When you first start a new game, a good location to build at will be shown at the top of the screen, so you can simply walk around the map and head towards that icon. Whilst heading to this location, you should loot any areas of interest that you find along the way. For example, you'll come across little areas like this where you can walk up to chests and open them to loot them. You'll also pass through this cave area that you're seeing here, and there's plenty of areas inside here that you can loot as well. And as you can see, the area that the game suggests to us is in this clearing in the forest right here. In general though, finding an area that's relatively flat is going to make building a lot easier. It's also a good idea if it has a lot of resources nearby, because you will of course need to collect these in order to build things. So in order to build anything, the first thing you need to do is press J to open up this GUI here and go to the crafting area. And you'll see here you can make a flame altar level 1, but it does require 5 stone. As the info says, this will mark your home and also allow you to build inside an area around the altar. When first starting out, you can collect stone from areas like this on the floor, and on the left hand side it tells you how much stone you've collected. Once you have enough to place the flame altar, you can come into this area again and press spacebar in order to craft it. You'll see it's now down in my hotbar, so I can simply press 3 in order to select that and build it wherever I like. So I'm going to go ahead and just place it right there, and now we have the ability to build in an area around this. Now once the altar is placed down, it actually makes collecting resources a bit easier, because we can now go up to, for example, a structure like this right here and just tear it down. We can also walk up to trees you see here and tear these down in order to get logs. So by placing down this altar, we're able to harvest many more resources in the area, which will of course make building a lot easier. Now in terms of the resources you're going to need early on in the game, first of all you're going to need twigs and plant fiber, which you can get from trees like this by simply walking up to them and looting them. Logs you can get from tearing down these trees once you've placed down the altar nearby. Stone, as we said, can be found just on the floor like this, or from structures like this once you've placed the altar. As for the torn cloth, you can get that by killing these mobs you see here. Once you've collected enough plant fiber, you can press J and go to the crafting area and then scroll down here to resources, and that's how you make string, which is something you will need early game. In the crafting area, you'll also be able to make yourself a stone pickaxe. Once crafted and equipped, you'll be able to dig around different areas in order to get dirt and also stone, as you see here. The dirt can be used for terraforming, which I'll talk about later on. As you start collecting a ton of resources, it can be a good idea to go into your crafting area and make yourself up a small chest. Enshrouded is currently in beta development, but will be in early access very soon on Steam. If you'd like to wishlist this game on Steam, the link for that is in the video description. In order to start building, the first thing you'll want to make is the quick builder. You'll see here it only requires 1 twig. So if we press spacebar, we can craft that, and this can be used whenever we're in the range of our altar. The next thing you'll want to make is a workbench. You'll see this is found in the essentials part of your crafting area and requires 8 logs and 3 string. Once you've crafted this, go ahead and place it down somewhere convenient nearby. You'll then be able to walk up to it and press E in order to enter into the workbench and build a lot of other things. So with the quick builder selected, go ahead and press the tab key. key. You can then select what you want to build out of. So right here, we're going to build out of the rough wood block. At the bottom, you'll then see you have different build options from single to 2 meters and 4 meters, as well as 2 and 4 meter roofs and terrain. The first thing you're likely to build with is going to be a foundation block. So you can select that and press escape and then run around to place it wherever you want in the world. You'll see it's pretty good at snapping to existing structures and being at the same height as them. So this height right here is a lot steeper on this side than it is over on this side, but it still knows where it needs to go. The snapping can be toggled using the X key, so you can turn that on or off and build however you like. When you want to build, you can simply left click in order to place down the blocks. If you want to undo, you can press Y and it simply undoes the build and gives you back the materials. And this can be done several times, as you see here. So I think this is a really cool idea and very useful, because you don't have to then go and get a tool out to like smash down any builds you've made. You can simply undo them. If you placed a build item a long time ago though, and you can undo, you can, whilst holding the quick builder, go and look at the item and press E, hold it down, and there you go. You pick it back up and get the materials back, plus it takes it down. Now, when placing down build pieces, you can press the R key in order to rotate the build piece 90 degrees. With decorational items, you can hold down the R key and use your middle mouse button to get a very precise rotation and orient it however you like. Once a decoration has been placed down, you can walk up to it and hold down E to pick it back up. Unfortunately, the Y button to undo doesn't work on the decorations, so you will have to go and pick them up each time if you misplace them. As you can see from this monstrosity of a structure right here, gravity is ignored in this game, so you can build things however you like without having to worry about gravity tearing them down. And in terms of how high you can actually build in this game, well, let's find that out together. So as it turns out, it's pretty high up, and I have to say you get an absolutely awesome view from up here. Now, if you press B to open up your backpack, you'll see down the bottom here we actually have 2 hotbars, and these can be toggled between very quickly using this key right here, which I actually don't know the name of, but it could be an option to have like a building hotbar and then an adventuring hotbar, and that might save you some time when you're building. Then you can quickly switch between the 2 of them. So for example, if I've got some build items down here, maybe my quick build tools down here and stuff like that, and I'm out adventuring, then when I want to build, I can quickly switch between them and get on with my building. Now, over at the workbench, you can also make a lot of decorative items if you scroll all the way down. So you see here you have things like doors and windows and even things like dishes and fences. On top of that, you also have these comfort items such as your bed, tables, chairs, benches, and an illumination section. Now, besides each of these items, you'll see they get a comfort rating. So for example, the table there gives you +1 comfort. So these decorative items will increase the duration of your rested buff. You'll see some items you can craft will have an arrow next to them, like the tables do here. What this means is there are actually multiple ones you can craft. So if we select tables, you see there's a crude wooden table at the top here, but we can also click through to these 2 different ones, and they'll all have different looks and also can have different potential comfort ratings, so it's definitely worth looking through them. Now, there are options to do some terraforming in the game. You'll see with a pickaxe you can dig out an area, and this will actually give you the resources of dirt and stone, as well as digging a bit of a hole. Now, what you can do is with the quick build item selected, you can press tab and go down here to where it says terrain, and then at this point you can choose on the right hand side here between stone and dirt and other terrain items once you get them. So if you use the dirt right here and we go back over towards our hole, then you see that we can actually place dirt down here to start filling this back in if we made a mistake by digging this out. So in this way you can do some terraforming, because you can choose different types of like shapes and sizes and things like that and make different terrain adjustments. The beta application for Enshrouded is now open, so if you'd like to request to play this game now, there's a link in the description. Personally, I've had so much fun playing this game, so I highly recommend that you go and wishlist this game now on Steam. The link for that is also in the video description.
Alpha, Part 2. from the darkness. Awaken. Let the fire in your veins guide you, for you shall have nothing else to survive. No food or comfort, until it is earned. The ones before you were fools. They pillaged the earth for a magical elixir and unleashed a ruinous blight. My newborn flame. Master the staff. The bow. The shield. And the blade. For in the fog, weakness is a feast for the mighty. Cast yourself into the ruined beauty of our world. Unlock her secrets. Shape the earth. Dive into the shroud. Seek treasures and ancient wisdom. Build, not for yourself, for you are not alone. There are others waiting for you to raise a village or a kingdom. Craft arms worthy of legend. And ignite your skills. Flameborn, call upon your allies, and together take back your realm.